Welcome to the Joy of Cooking podcast. Each week we set the table for a discussion about recipes and stories from the authors of The Joy of Cooking, Kitchen Victories and Misadventures, and what we're cooking and eating right now. We're glad you've joined us at the table today. I'm Shannon Larson, home cook, Joy of Cooking user and fan, and cold-baked sweet potatoes for breakfast enthusiast.
I'm Megan Scott, co-author of the 2019 edition of The Joy of Cooking. I'm a food editor by day and avoider of dish duty by night, and it's officially hot toddy season. Praise be.
I'm John Becker, fourth-generation co-author and steward of The Joy of Cooking, America's oldest family-run cookbook, and I dislike cleaning wild mushrooms that were foraged in heavy rain because they're soggy, and it is very difficult.
That's very topical.
Yeah. Well, I was doing it earlier today, so...
Wait, do we all have the same thing written down?
To talk about mushroom? I mean, yeah, that was like the most exciting thing I've done all week. Yeah, so we went on a mushroom foraging expedition. It was very wet. Very, very wet.
It felt like I went swimming in my hiking boots.
Yeah, my boots were, I could hear the squidgy sound. Yeah, it was a lot.
Didn't you take them off and there was actually standing water in the boots? Yeah.
It turns out I've actually ordered a pair of proper waterproof shoes. Oh, it's only taken me, how many years have we lived in the Pacific Northwest now?
Yeah, I remember there was another mushroom foraging expedition that we were on, and I think our producer Sarah was wearing muck boots, and I looked at them and I was like, oh, that's such a great idea.
And then proceeded to not.
For 6 years, just have not followed through on that.
Those boots are bog boots, and they are waterproof, and I learned about them from my farmer friends.
Next time, I have them on order. They're coming.
Oh,
They're
good.
coming. So,
good.
But we were successful. Shannon, what mushrooms did you find?
We found chanterelles and lobsters, and we used the chanterelles immediately on Sunday night for risotto. And it was the best risotto I've ever made. So
Mushroom is my favorite risotto. So.
It's so good. Yeah.
Awesome.
You guys found the purple chanterelles?
Violet chanterelles.
Yeah, violet chanterelles, white chanterelles, and then like 3 tiny normal golden chanterelles.
And a bunch of lobsters.
Yeah, a bunch of lobsters. I was really excited about those, and because there appeared to be a lot of them, and they seemed good enough. But then we got home, and I don't know, some of them just kind of fell apart when I started cleaning them. So we were more discerning when we got home.
Yeah, it was just a soggy time, but that's part of it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
The lobsters are fun to find because they're just so bright red.
Oh, they're so pretty.
Yeah, and when you find them, you're just like, oh, they're like treasures.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're all like treasures, but.
I want to make a lobster mushroom roll. So like lobster
Ooh.
roll, but with the mushrooms.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Connecticut, am I getting this right? Connecticut style or Maine style?
I can't remember the difference.
One has butter, the other has mayonnaise. I know that.
I like the butter one.
Butter, I feel like the butter would be best.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the mushrooms.
Yeah.
But tonight we're going to cook some of the white chanterelles. John, you were going to roast.
Yeah, they were a little waterlogged. I mean, when we were out, it was really wet. So, of course, the mushrooms, absorbed a lot of that. And was thinking about kind of par roasting them. Either that or, you published a recipe that was like for dry sauteed mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that might be interesting to try.
Yeah, just to cook off some of that water.
Right.
Concentrate them.
Yeah, it's a dry skillet. This would be with regular button mushrooms that you were using. So I'm not sure how it would work with the, weird, oddly shaped chanterelles. But yeah, just weight it down in the skillet. And then when it gets kind of nice and brown.
A little brown.
You turn them over, maybe do it again. And then after that, you add some butter.
Yeah.
That's what we tend to do with our mushrooms every year. So
that was very fun. And we're kind of prepping for my sister's getting married next week. And her rehearsal dinner is on Halloween. So she's having a costume party, which is super fun. But I'm dressing up as a mushroom, one of the, red with the white spots, the Amanita muscaria. And then John is going to be a mushroom hunter. So I feel like we were practicing for our Halloween costume.
There are no implications to that at all. I'm certainly not going to harvest you.
And you won't get wet. Hopefully it'll be nice and dry.
Yeah, it'll be nice and dry. It'll be indoors. And before we move on, I wanted to talk about the Joy Scouts recipe of the week, which was roast chicken on page 407. Great. Roast chicken is great with mushrooms. I feel like that's how I'm going to bridge this. What's your favorite part of the roast chicken? Like when you roast a chicken, what part do you want right away?
The oysters.
Nice.
Like immediately, as soon as we bring it out of the oven, well, when we can touch the chicken, then that's the first thing John always does is he grabs the oysters and we each eat it. And then he like takes it apart. So what about you?
Priority.
Wait, you grab them before you take? That's a trick.
Yeah, he like digs his fingers and just like takes them from the carcass.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's dedication.
we really like them. Well, it's also just like a treat because it takes a while to roast the chicken and you're like smelling it and you're looking forward to it.
hungry.
Yeah, and at that point I'm just starving. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you go for the low-hanging fruit.
Oh yeah, I'm a wingtip person.
Oh.
And the tail. I like the tail and the wingtip. Those come off right away and I'm snacking on those. And then I like them when they get crispy, so we don't trust the wingtips so they're tucked in because I want them to get dark brown and really like crispy. So that's my kitchen snack.
you just chew on them.
Yeah, just exactly.
Well, it's more of a crunchy situation. Not too much chewing involved. It's just like
Yeah.
breaking off little bits of cartilage. It's crispy cartilage, salty cartilage. Yum.
So we usually also eat the dark meat first on day one because I think that the white meat tastes better when it's left over.
Well, we do the same thing. We eat the dark meat right after it's roasted, like for dinner, and then we save the breast for like other meals throughout the week, like chicken salad or whatever it might be, because the dark meat tastes really good right out of the oven. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, actually, I just used some leftover roast chicken. Peter Kim got me thinking about, ramen experiments. And so I made like a Khao Soi ramen for lunch today with some leftover chicken, a little red curry paste, a little curry powder topped with chopped pickled mustard greens. And, I reserved some of the ramen noodles and toasted them in a skillet, like all crushed up. So
That's a good idea.
yeah,
That is good.
it was good. I have to say, patting myself on the back.
See all the things you can do with a roast chicken if you just make one. It's really easy to make. There's lots of tricks out there for, like hacks for making the best roast chicken ever. But roasting a chicken is really, really, it can be so simple. All you have to do is salt it, put it in the oven at like 400 degrees. You don't even have to do that high, and just cook it till it's done.
Yeah.
That's it.
Or you can make a hobby of it. Either way.
That's true.
In the winter, I think we roast a chicken like once a week or every week or two, just because it's a nice staple to have too.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
So if you make the roast chicken recipe on page 407, please tag us at The Joy of Cooking on Instagram. We would love to see what you make.
And if you do anything spectacular with the leftovers, definitely want to see that.
This week, we would like to welcome Kate McDermott to the table. Kate is the creator and founder of Art of the Pie and a James Beard finalist for her writing and recipes. Since 2008, she has taught the time-honored craft of pie making to over 7,000 people in her highly popular in-person pie camps and virtual classes. One of the most highly sought-after culinary instructors nationally, Kate is widely acknowledged as one of the best makers of pie ever and has been called food rock star and pie whisperer. Kate, welcome to the table.
Well, thank you for having me here. I'm delighted to be here. I have to tell you, I was really enjoying that conversation too.
I know. I feel like we should allow our guests to chime in, but I'm going to ask you now, what have you made this week that you're excited about or eaten this week that you're excited about?
Oh, well, I made a great pot of brown rice and it was just so comforting. And you do that and then you can make a lot of things with it. I'm one of those who likes to have things ready so that I can throw things together. This actually, along with the brown rice, I had some chicken thighs in the fridge, and I had some leftover green enchilada sauce. I had some tomato sauce. I had some artichoke hearts, and I had some shallots that were from something else that I had made. And I said, here's the slow cooker. I just threw everything in, and I had to be gone for the day. I had no idea what I was going to come home to. And it was excellent.
I love it when that happens. When you're not sure what's going to happen, and it's a good thing.
Slow cooker roulette.
Exactly.
I like
Also,
it.
brown rice with butter and soy sauce is
Yes.
it's a delicacy. It's so good.
Have you tried the in-between brown and white rice, the Haiga rice where it's like semi-polished, I guess, is the tech.
No, I don't know about that rice. I'm going to write this down and look for it. That is that HAI.
Haiga. Yeah. Brown rice is excellent. It doesn't cook quite as fast as white rice. This is a nice in-between alternative just because it cooks in the same time as white rice, basically. But it does have some of the germ on there. No, you should
And it
check
has
it
a
out.
nutty,
It shakes hands with both sides.
Yeah.
very friendly rice.
Like, can we go back to mushrooms for a second?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I was thinking about this. I made, and also the wedding. Okay, these two things and costumes, all of these things. Okay, so when my son got married, my son and daughter-in-law, they had a 4-day snow bash east of Seattle in Clay Elum, this little area, and I catered for 4 days.
Ooh.
We were all under one roof. They found this great place that could house 60 of us. It had 2 kitchens, 3 ovens, 2 refrigerators, an ice maker. It was fabulous. And I along with I made chicken pies for everybody. And I did it with leeks and mushrooms and potatoes and some herb de Provence. It was so good. But the thing that was wonderful was seeing the costume party. We had costume parties. So I would either get up in the morning and be greeted by, unicorns or whatever, dogs, dog costumes, just all sorts of things. And I never knew who was going to be at the table or who was in the costume. It was so much fun.
That sounds like quite the undertaking. What were you responsible for when you said you were catering? Like just
Everything.
Everything. Wow.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner
Oh
for
my
60
gosh.
people.
Wow.
That is dedication.
So it's 3 days for them, 4 days for those of us who are putting it on.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so much work.
Oh, I did a lot of prep. I have a freezer. I was very well prepared.
Were you in costume at all?
I came in my ceremonial dress that I wear for all major occasions that I made. So that was, some would say it was
Hey, Joy
my
of Cooking listeners,
1960s
did you know the
hippie
same
costume.
family that taught America how to cook also taught California how to make world-class Chardonnay? The same joy and passion for life that inspired Irma Rombauer to write The Joy of Cooking inspired her great-nephew, Kerner Rombauer, to establish Rombauer Vineyards. Founded in 1980 in the Napa Valley, Rombauer has been producing acclaimed wines from California ever since. While they're famous for their iconic California Chardonnay, Rombauer crafts a diverse collection of delicious wines that bring joy to your table. Ready to taste the legacy? Visit rombauer.com/joy or use code JOYPOD, all caps, for 15% off your order. That's ROMBAUER.com/joy or code JOYPOD, all caps. Kate, what is your relationship to the joy of cooking?
I would say it's a long one. I recall my mom, she had her wartime copy of The Joy of Cooking. And
Oh, you have it.
I do.
Oh, beautiful.
I do.
And
Yeah.
for listeners who cannot see, it's a blue, what is that pattern that?
I've called it gingham, but I think that's wrong.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't think it's gingham. It's like a diamond
Yeah,
pattern on the
sideways
front,
diamond.
Yeah, blue. It's a pretty blue. And what I recall in there, the earliest things I really recall making with her is fudge. We made fudge. And it was the fudge in the wartime edition that it was chocolate fudge #2, which if you have that edition, it's on page 736. And I still have the bowl that we made it
Oh,
in.
wow. That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I remember that we would make this and go into the room where there was this television. And I can't remember exactly what we were watching. That sort of fades away. And she'd say, we just beat it and beat it and beat it and beat it. And we would take turns back and forth. She would have it, I would have it. And she said, you have to keep beating it until the gloss is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And you could hardly get the spoon through anymore. And then she said, "Oh, it's ready now." It was such a treat, and I always remember that.
That's amazing. I love that memory so much.
And then the next thing that, with my history of that, is in 1972, she gave me my own copy of Joy of Cooking, and she gave it to me on my birthday, on my 19th birthday.
Lovely.
So this one again, it's falling apart. It's always been the go-to reference of, I want to make this or that. Where do I go? This is where I go, and I would look, and it was one of the books that I really learned to cook.
Yeah, that's our favorite historical edition, is the 1964, the blue cover. That was Marion Rombauer Becker's first solo edition, and has our favorite illustrations of all of the editions.
It does have the let's see, the rabbit. The rabbit the illustration in there. Yeah.
I feel like it's a squirrel.
The hare.
The squirrel.
It's the squirrel. The squirrel. Thank you very much. I knew it was something. Yeah.
Yeah, people are upset that we replaced it with a rabbit. They want the grotesque squirrel.
But we did
grotesque squirrel.
We did meet somebody who has a friend who got the squirrel tattooed on them. And they sent us a photo of the tattoo, and I just admired the commitment to that so much. It makes a great tattoo.
Yeah, speaking of, so when Marion went off to Vassar for college for a while, I don't think she actually graduated, but I guess at Fudge was like all the rage at Vassar. Like,
when would that have been? The 40s? Was that?
I guess it was
30s.
Yeah, it must have been 30s, something like that. But yeah, there's like it was a thing. I guess
to make they were making fudge at college.
Yeah, making fudge at college. It sounds weird. I'm gonna have to do more research. I did not do any research on that for this recording.
You didn't expect that I was going to talk about fudge.
Be prepared. So you are a pie baker. I would love for you to tell us about your pie camps.
Where to begin?
How did it begin?
I was living in Seattle and making pie. Just, you make pie every once in a while for your family or friends. And I remember I was married at the time, and my husband then said, "Can you make an apple pie?" And I said, "Well, sure." And I made a pie, and he had some comments about it. And what I wanted was for him to taste a bite of the pie and say, "Oh, my darling, this is the best pie. You make the best pie." And I didn't quite hear that. So I kept playing around with doughs, ratios, fats, all sorts of things, varieties of apples, refractometers, all sorts of things, until one day he said, "I don't think this could get any better." So great. In his stature in the food world, he said one day, "Well, a few people are going to come over because they want to learn how to make the pie that you're making, the apple pie." And I said, "Okay." So a very informal class happened in my kitchen, and it was two food writers and a chef. And the one of the food writers wrote a 2-part piece on this making pie with me, and it won awards. And at the end of the class, these 3 folks said, "We had so much fun. You made it so easy, and the pie is great. You should be teaching this." So I went to my computer and found iWeb, a little program where I could make a website. And I figured out how to load it up on the internet, set some dates up, and stood back. I had no idea what was going to happen. And people started coming, and press started writing, and magazines started coming, and agents and editors started contacting me. And it was just beyond my wildest dreams. Probably one of the craziest things was setting up a few classes and having, there was something that used to be called Daily Candy, I recall. And they said, we're going to feature Art of the Pie. They said, you'll want to add some more classes. Make sure you have some. So I said, what, 3, 4? They said, no, a few more. So I put up an arbitrary number, like 19. I think that was the figure. I don't know why 19, but that's what it ended up being. And then I went off to go to Eastern Washington to do something. And when I got there and got settled, I looked at my email. All these reservations were coming in, and every single one of the classes had filled in like 5 or 6 hours. It blew my mind. So I kind of thought, maybe this is something that I should take a little more seriously. And that began this crazy journey of this business, which I feel so fortunate to still, since that was in 2009, 2008, when that first class happened with in my little kitchen. And this is now, 2025, and people are still coming. After the day classes, then people said, we want more. We want more. What else do you have? So I came up with this crazy idea of Pie Camp, which is a multi-day experience. And that has been probably all of it has been a great joy for me. And I'm not done yet.
There's a real hunger for pie. That's kind of, I mean, it kind of goes again. I guess, it seems like the trend in cooking is always easier, always faster, but pie doesn't really fit that mold. I mean, there's easier pies and there's harder pies to make, but it's not a quick food. It's something that requires you to spend time and care and attention making. Why do you think there's such a hunger for pie?
I think because it is such a basic thing. It's when I talk to people about cake versus pie, and they'll say, yeah, cake, it's very celebratory. But you say pie, and they go, oh, my grandmother or my aunt or my uncle, they used to make this. I remember a time. And I think there is something that is, pie is a carrier of our memories. And what we learn to make a dough, and you're rolling it out, and then you're putting yourself into this filling. And I also think that pie gets a bad rap of it's hard. It's not hard. Anything can be, you're going to succeed at whatever you believe. So if you think that pie is going to be hard, then it will be hard for you. But if you think I'm learning a skill, I'm learning this, and yes, I need to do a little practicing on this, and it's getting easier every time, then yeah, that's how things work.
I do think pie, there's like a mindset shift you have to undergo if you're going to make pie. Like you can't, I mean, in my opinion, you can't be in a huge hurry. You have to stop and think about what you're doing, and really you have to, engage your senses, feel the dough. How does it feel? How does it look? And yeah, it takes practice to make a really, I mean, but even like a pie that isn't perfect that's part of the charm. That's a great pie.
I agree. And if I know we have the holidays, the big pie holidays that come up in the year, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, things like this. If you bring a pie and it's not a homemade pie, nobody's going to say, I'm sorry, you can't come in. That's not a homemade pie. They're going to say, you brought pie.
What do you think the most important things to know are as a beginner pie baker?
I have 3 things that I feel that are important to impart to beginners and experienced pie makers. Number 1, keep everything chilled, especially yourself. And that is in a few different ways. Yes, the ingredients, make sure your fats are chilled, use ice water, but also think about your environment. A warm, hot kitchen is not ideal for working with cold fats.
Mm-hmm.
If your hands are warm, hold ice cubes, dip them in an ice water bath, something like that. So, and the biggest thing is this is just pie. This is not rocket science. Yes, you can do it. So chill out. You can do it. There's that. The part about chilling is yourself also. Number two is to keep your boundaries. And in that, I mean, do not overfill the pie pan unless you want a clean the oven pie, which is one that we've all made.
Yes.
Okay. And that's, no, enough said on that. And the third is to vent. And pie making is a wonderful way to creatively vent. And you can think of that whether in your life or in the artistry of making pie. If it's in your life, here's an opportunity to vent in a very creative way. And venting is something that I think we don't mean to get into the psychology of pie, but it's just kind of a nice thing to think about these three things: to chill, keep your boundaries, and vent.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of like my rules of both pie and life.
I love how all of those have double or even triple meanings. Venting double crust pies, but also take out whatever you need to on that dough. That's nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of psychology of pie, in the art of the pie, you write at length at how pie making has helped you kind of reflect on life, and I was just kind of curious if you could maybe go into that a little bit, and like, have you had any recent pie-based insights or revelations even that you would like to share?
Oh, every day I have one. I feel that, first of all, there's so much to know about pie. It's not just here. I make pie. Yes, I do. But the more I know and the more I learn about pie, I realize how much more there is. And it excites me beyond belief, to go down a rabbit hole, which I have been in this rabbit hole for decades now, and I don't seem to be close to leaving the rabbit hole. But I feel that I'm always learning something, even if it's, well, I'm not going to do that again. There's, that's a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
I think at every class I learn something. Yes, there's some basic things that everybody asks, but I learn something at every class. I learn something with every pie I make. Yes, I could do it in my sleep, and make doughs, and I probably have it sometimes when it's been the middle of the night and I have to get this done and I go out into the kitchen and I'm just, okay, here, I've got everything. And I make a pie and I'm not even really thinking about it because I've done it so often. But I'm still learning. Recently, what I'm doing now is I've, having written 3 books and 2 on pie, I have been playing around for a couple decades now with gluten-free doughs, and I'm still learning. I think the gluten-free doughs in both books are really good, and I'm still refining, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
still learning, and they're still getting better. And that really is exciting to me. So I love just going into the kitchen and knowing that this is a training ground for me. And I'm not an expert. I'm a practitioner of a craft. And as a practitioner, I'm always practicing.
We're big fans of Rombauer Vineyards. They're sponsoring today's episode, actually. But honestly, their wines are fantastic with so many Joy of Cooking dishes. My current favorite is their Sauvignon Blanc with our Khao Soi Gai recipe. That bright, crisp wine cuts right through the richness of the curry. It's perfect.
Oh, absolutely. Being Oregonians, we take our Pinot seriously. We're excited about their new Pinot Noir, which pairs beautifully with our chicken jambalaya. The wine has enough body to stand up to all those bold Creole flavors.
If you want to try these pairings yourself, head to rombauer.com/joy or use code JOYPOD, all caps, for 15% off. That's ROMBAUER.com/joy or code JOYPOD, all caps. I'm really curious about the gluten-free pie crust. Do you have any advice for folks who are trying to do gluten-free crust? I mean, the nice thing about it is you can't overwork it, so that's a plus.
A big plus. When I'm teaching gluten-free classes, the first thing I say to folks is gluten-free is not hard. It's just different.
Mm-hmm.
So if you remember that to begin with, it kind of takes some of the, oh my God, it's a gluten-free crust and it's going to, I'm not going to be able to do this. You just take that away. And then I tell them that everything you know about gluten-full doughs, pretty much leave at the door. Because now we're doing a whole different thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're open to that, rather than, well, that's not how I do it with the, well, it's not, because it's different. So what I find with gluten-free, a few basic things. It takes a lot more liquid, or not a lot, but it takes a little more liquid because the gluten-free flours and starches really suck up the liquid. And then making sure that that dough is used fairly quickly after you have made it, because as it is soaking up that stuff, the liquid, and it's in the fridge for the fats to chill back up, it can get hard really fast. So you're watching it. You're not going to put a gluten-free dough into the fridge for hours or overnight if you can help it. Have it chill back up, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, and then get it out. And always just kind of like, does it feel like I could roll it out? Mm-hmm. And then I'm rolling between what I've traditionally been doing, which is so interesting to say that I've been doing gluten-free long enough that I can say traditionally I've been doing, has been rolling it between two pieces of plastic wrap or two roll pots or sill pots. And that really has worked exceptionally well. But lately, I have been playing around with some new techniques of making the dough and getting tremendous results of doughs that I can roll out, and I can make a beautiful lattice. I can flip it on into the pie pan. It's not falling apart on me. So I'm very excited about the new things that I'm playing with and learning.
Are those things going to be shared anywhere that we can find them?
Oh yes, they will be. Yes, give me a little bit more time on this, but I'm very, very excited about this.
Exciting developments in pie. I love it.
How do you feel about the the kind of 1 for 1 or cup for cup type gluten-free blends? I was just curious.
When I found out that I had celiac in 2006, which surprises everybody because I'm a pie maker and a pie teacher, I found out that I could no longer eat anything I was baking, whether that was bread, and because I was always a bread maker too. And so at that time, the off-the-shelf AP gluten-free flour mixes were not really a thing. So I was starting from scratch of playing with different flours and starches to see what worked to create things. And then when I think the first one that I tried of an off-the-shelf was a cup for cup. And at that time, the recipe in there had milk powder in it. And I also, at that time, was dairy-free. So I could not have that. And so, yes, I used it. I think there's some, let's just say, I think it was a wonderful start into the development of gluten-free AP flours. And there are so many others out there now that it's exciting to see that there are options and they're different.
Cool. I don't have any follow-ups.
To add.
No.
I kind of want to talk about apple pie for a second because we're in that season. We're in apple pie season, and my mom actually texted me a question the other day. And funnily enough, she sent in the question that we're going to be answering in a few minutes. But this is a separate one about apple pie. So she made an apple pie. It looked beautiful, but the apples shrank and the crust did not fall. It stayed up. So there's like a crevasse between the apples and the crust. And I was like, honestly, the only way I know to prevent that is by pre-cooking the filling so that you have it's more compact. But do you have any advice for, because I know a lot of people want to make the raw apple pie where you just throw the apples in the filling. So do you have any advice?
I do. Don't make it as high.
Okay.
So when you are doing the Big Mile High apple pie, the qualities of the apples is they slump, and you're left with the Grand Canyon in there, or that big crevasse. And so cut your apples a little smaller rather than too big. And I'm the first person who will say, in Art of the Pie, I say, cut apples to a size that you can comfortably get into your mouth. Well, all apples are not the same. I spent a evening one time placing I had 18 different varieties of apples. I had one refrigerator that was just dedicated to apple storage, crazy. And so I got out sheet pans and put some parchment paper down, marked off 9 squares on the parchment paper, and put a unpeeled apple on each square and baked them. And I wanted to see, do they hold their shape? Do they not hold their shape? What's it like on the inside? What is the flesh like? Is it soft? Is it mushy? Is it still hard? And it was a fascinating little exercise. Some looked like they were just collapsing on themselves. Others were sitting in a pool of sugar juice. It was all over the map. So what that told me is, first of all, it's a wonderful thing to put a big variety of apples in a pie if you can. I'd suggest going to the store or your farmer's market or the trees that you have and taking 1 or 2 of everything and cutting those up. I sometimes don't peel apples. There are a few that I do because of the nature of particular skins, like the new Cosmic Crisps, I think are fabulous, but I do find their skin a little distracting in a pie. So I peel that one. I'll peel a Granny Smith, but things like a Roxbury Russet, I'm not going to peel that, or a Spitzenberg, or some of these different varieties. So getting back to, is it going to slump or not? What I found for the best results that I don't have to worry about it is don't over mound. First we had don't overfill. Well, apples, those are one that you really don't have to worry about. Is it going to leak out on your oven floor? But in this sense, you don't want to over mound. You can have a nice little hill. You don't have to have the Mount Everest of pie on there. And I think there was a PBS series on a few good pie places, and they showed one of the places making pies that I think that was probably a 12-inch high pie. I don't know how you would eat it. Are you going to take a bite of that, or is it just for the show of like, okay?
Were they starting off with like a regular shallow pie pan, or was it a especially deep?
No, it was a regular pie pan.
Wow.
Yeah. So, okay, fine. And, just mounding. So I personally feel that just bring it down just a little bit, and then don't have such, the pieces be so big that they are going to not be done after an hour or an hour and 10 minutes or whatever. And to make sure that you can hear some steady bubbling coming through. And also take a fork or a knife and tuck it into your vents to see, are the apples soft?
That's great
Now,
advice.
I
And I
this
love
is kind of like going a lot further than just the slumping there, but
no, this is great. This is great pie advice. And I love your tip on just using a wide variety of apples too, because I think people get caught up in, what's the best apple for apple pie, but the best apple is a variety of apples. All of them.
I also think cutting them to bite-sized. I feel like a lot of people cut the apples so the pieces are so large. I just don't like eating that. It's just too much. So bite-sized bits. I'm going to remember that next time.
Yeah.
That's
You don't want it so small that it's going to just turn into mush.
right.
But if there is just one apple that I could choose, and I've been asked this, if you only had one apple to put in a pie, what would it be? It would be a Gravenstein.
Oh.
I think they have a wonderful balance of tart and sweet. They're horrible keepers.
Yeah.
You want to make them, the pie when they're in season, or you can freeze a filling. But boy, that Gravenstein pie is, I think that's the apple that poets must write about.
I haven't seen a Gravenstein in a while. I mean, you might find it at a farmer's market, not so much your grocery store.
And it's one of the early apples, yeah.
You mentioned a little bit about listening for the sound of the pie. Can you talk a little bit about what sizzle wump is?
Uh-huh. That started when I had taken a pie out of the oven. I had made a pie in a very large pie pan. It was actually a pie pan made out of the pottery for shabu shabu, the Japanese stovetop cooking. So it was actually a shabu shabu. And I had made this very large pie in there that actually serves 15 people.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's huge. When I took it out of the oven, I heard this boop, 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 and I'm getting, my previous career was professional music. So I'm going, what is this? And I get my ear down to it and I start listening to pies. And I hear the whumping, which some people call the heartbeat of the pie. And then I'm hearing the sizzling of the fat in the crust. So I kind of coined this sizzle wump. And what I found is that every fruit has a different wump. So apples have that deeper wump, wump. But cherries, a thinner juice, wump, 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 wump. So they're all different. And I just find it fascinating to listen to them.
Do you think it has something to do with the amount of pectin that's, in these different fruits, or is it just, who knows?
Now you're asking a very scientific question.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just a pie maker.
Yeah, we're talking about art and music, and
I apologize.
That's okay. That's okay.
I love that they all have a different kind of language, and I love also listening for. That's, I think, an underrated way of telling when something is ready or at a certain stage of cooking is really like listening to it, listening to the way it bubbles or sizzles.
There's using your senses in cooking and baking is, I think, one of the greatest gifts that we get with sensory experiences in the kitchen. And I love that I can be on one side of the kitchen and I can hear something on the stove. And I know, oh, time to go over and turn it down or whatever it is. Or for me, when I can smell the pie, the aroma of the pie wafting through my house, I know that I'm 80% baked.
One more thing about the sizzle wump. Does the gooey duck pie that's like a family favorite, does that have a sizzle wump? A very oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a different one. That's different. And, I was thinking about that when you were talking about mushrooms also, if I could circle back there for a moment, because that pie is just excellent if you do sliced truffles right on the top of it. It's quite good.
Like after it comes out of the oven, you slice them.
No, you put those on when you're making a gooey duck pie, which people go, ooh,
I think we need to back up and
what?
explain we know what it is because we're in the Pacific Northwest, but what is gooey duck?
A gooey duck is the largest clam. It's the indigenous clam to the Pacific Northwest. It's a Nisqually term, a guiduc. Even though it's spelled Geoduck, it's pronounced like Gweeduc, guiduc. And the term means digs deep. So the guiduc, if I said to someone, I make a big clam pie, would you like that? They'd go, yeah, that sounds great. I said, it's kind of like having a thicker clam chowder in between the crust.
Yum.
Sound good? Yes. And then I bring out the guiduc and they go, what is that? Because here's this large clam stuck between two oval shells, long elongated oval shells, with the mantle that is in the shell, and then the siphon. And the siphon is what gives it its uniqueness.
It's elephant trunk appearance.
Yes, it's elephant trunk appearance. Yes. So I've got some instructions in there on how to, in Art of the Pie, on the big clam pie, of how to prepare the guiduc. And then basically you're using the kind of ingredients that you would for a clam chowder, and putting those. It's not as juicy because you don't want to have a soup in there,
right?
But you want that beautiful flavor. And once I get all of that in there, before I top it with the upper crust, that's when I was given some black truffles once and shaved those on the top. It was a pie like no other.
That sounds so good.
That's our next cooking project. I think we need to do that.
We can find guiduc.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's do
my family wants to do something different for Thanksgiving this year, and I feel like that would be a really fun thing to do with them because they love to cook too. So.
Oh, hello. I just wanted to take a moment to tell you about an easy way to enhance your meals. Whether they are a healthy vegan grain bowl or that late night snack we'll pretend didn't happen the next day, and that easy way is Marshall's Hot Sauce. For 15 years, chef and cookbook author Sarah Marshall has been hand-making and bottling these delicious sauces. She works directly with local farmers and highlights the lovely flavors of fresh seasonal produce. They're gluten-free, there are no additives, dyes, waxes, or binders, and they have mouth-watering combinations like serrano ginger lemongrass, or habanero carrot curry, or even whiskey smoked ghost, which was featured on Hot Ones. So head on over to marshallshotsauce.com, that's Marshalls, HAUTESAUCE.com, and see all the available sauces and spice blends. Oh, that's right. Sarah's created spice packets by dehydrating and freeze-drying actual produce, so you can impart flavor to your food with more vegetables. But that's a story for another day. Find all of these delicious creations at marshallshotsauce.com and enter HOTJOY, that's one word, capital H, AUTE, capital JOY, one word, at checkout for 20% off. That's HOTJOY at checkout for 20% off. And now, back to the show.
All right, we've got to get to answering our caller question. This week, we're going to talk about meringue. Sarah, can you read the question, please?
What's the trick to sky-high meringue that holds its shape and doesn't shrink or weep?
Kate, I'm going to let you take this, and then we have thoughts too, but I want to hear what you have to say about it.
Well, in general, there are 3 different meringues that we use. There's French meringue, Swiss meringue, and Italian meringue. A French meringue is the one that I learned from my grandmother first. It is just the egg whites and some sugar, a little bit of cream of tartar, and beating it until you get the beautiful white frothy meringue. The problem with this is that it doesn't hold its shape for very long. A French meringue is lovely, but it should be eaten within a few hours, in my humble opinion. It will not hold overnight. It'll start shrinking. So what do? We choose to take a look at some of the other options, which would be the Swiss meringue or the Italian meringue. Both of these use heat. So the Swiss meringue, you are having all of your ingredients heating to a particular temperature over a water bath, and then once it reaches the temperature, then putting that into a stand mixer or a hand mixer and beating. And now you get your big loft. grate and placing it on the top of the pie. It's it's a sturdier meringue. It holds longer. Then the third one is the Italian meringue, which in this one you make basically, I think it's 2 parts sugar to 1 part of water. And you make basically like a simple syrup on there and then heat that. Then you mix that into your egg whites and beat. And that one also, you will hold your shape. With those last 2, just make as much as you can and pile it high.
Mm-hmm.
You can either, put it under the broiler or use your blowtorch.
My favorite kitchen tool.
But there's also another one. Have you ever made meringue with aquafaba?
I have, but not for a pie.
Can. It doesn't hold, okay? So it would be similar more to the French meringue,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Serve it on the day that you make it.
Yeah.
And I have made it with the aquafaba, which is bean juice from garbanzos. I've done it from red kidney beans. I've done it from black beans. I've done it not only from the canned beans. When I've cooked garbanzos in my Instapot, I save the water. And I've made aquafaba from that. And it's beautiful. It takes a lot longer in the whipping. Mm-hmm. A lot longer.
Do you stabilize it with anything or just whip it with sugar?
You whip it with sugar. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So you were saying it's similar to a French meringue. Have you tried it with the Italian meringue method or?
No, I haven't. That should be on my list to do. Maybe we can circle back around if you decide to do that
would love
too
to
and
know.
see what your results,
I mean, would love to experiment with that.
My go-to for pie has become Italian meringue because it is so pillowy and glossy and like marshmallowy, and it just holds up so nicely. The only downside is you need a thermometer. You've got to cook the syrup to 238 or 240 before you drizzle it in. So it just requires a little coordinating with the hot syrup and the whipping of the egg whites.
Well, yeah, and it also helps to be using a saucepan that has a little bit of a lip on it so that you can just pour it directly from there into the stand mixer. And then you have to be a little accurate with how you're pouring the syrup so it doesn't hit the tines of the stand mixer of the whisk or get it like on the side of the stand mixer bowl.
And of course, you have all of that on page 794.
Yes. Amazing. Thank you for pulling that out. I didn't even have the page number written down.
Yeah, the 2019 edition is the first where we pulled all of the meringue information into one spot.
Yep.
And it's actually, I think, the first edition where we talk about all 3 types of those meringues, like by name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was quite an undertaking, just like condensing, because I think we had meringue information in 3 different
it was
3 different chapters
scattered around. We also have in the book, I think it's what is the name of the recipe?
Soft meringue topping 1 and 2.
Yes, thank you. But it's a stabilized meringue. It's more like a French meringue, but it has a cornstarch slurry that is added to it. So you cook cornstarch with just a little bit of water until it thickens up into a gel. And then you add that to your meringue, and that also will stabilize it. So if you don't want to go to the fuss of making the Italian or the Swiss meringue, you can do the cornstarch trick, and that really helps hold it for a little while. But other than that, I would just say avoid overbeating the egg whites. I think people overbeat a lot, and they get really grainy. Yeah, not so nice.
It looks funny. You lose that beautiful luster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just watching the Great British Bake Off
yes.
last night, and it was meringue week.
Oh,
it was so much fun to watch.
So stressful.
Oh my gosh, I love the show.
Those meringue towers that they were making, incredible. Like I don't know, I would have had a heart attack, but it looked incredible.
Yeah. I have a question for you. So, Megan, your Frangipane fruit tarts.
Mm-hmm.
Those just are, I've been into a Bakewell tart mode, and I think these just look fabulous. Those are the ones on page 677 in there. I just love that what you have given people in here is the freedom to like, okay, you got the dough, you got your pâte brisée or sucre, and you've got your Frangipane. Now, what kind of fruit do you?
Mm-hmm.
That's my type of recipe.
Yes, me too.
Within Pie Camp, the 3rd book, I try and kind of distill, here are the basic steps of doughs or a filling or a fruit or a topping. And now it's like do you remember the flip books that had the mouth and the nose and the eyes and you could make different
Yeah.
faces with? That's what I love about pies is there's an infinite variety of what you can come up with. And your recipe for the fruit tart reminded the Frangipane fruit tart. It's on page 677 in case your listeners are wondering. Um,
I love that recipe.
It just reminded me of that.
That was one I used to make. I used to have a little farmer's market baking business when we lived in Tennessee for a few years, and I made that tart every week, but it was different every week because it was whatever fruit was in season, and it works with basically anything you want to do, with pears, with berries, with figs. One of my favorites is raspberry. I just love a raspberry frangipane. But yeah, that's a fantastic recipe that I highly recommend. But we're going to assign for this week's Joy Scouts recipe, we're assigning the lemon meringue pie on page 681. So you can practice your meringue however you decide to make it. And it's a pretty easy and forgiving pie, I think. And it's a favorite I think everybody just loves lemon meringue pie. It's so zesty and delicious.
That was my grandmother's her pie. She was known for that. And I just want to mention something on there. Be sure that when you are cooking the eggs in there, that you really do get them to a boil in there, because there's a enzyme, the alpha amylase enzyme in there that this is the geeky part of the pie geek, is if that's not killed off, it loves to eat cornstarch. And even if there's just one little enzyme in there, it says, oh, there's cornstarch. And it starts eating it up, and then it multiplies, and it eats up the rest of it. And that's when you get the beautiful custard, the filling that you've made, and it just
liquefies.
You've got to cook that thing and stir and stir and stir, and so you hear some plop plop plopping. That's another term. You got the sizzle one, you got the plop plop plop.
Very scientific.
Good sounds when it comes to pie making. If you have a cooking question or joy story to share, call our hotline at 503-395-8858. Leave us a message or send us a text. We would love to hear from you. Sarah, can you please read or play our next week's caller question?
I listen to your podcast several times per week. It's comforting, even on repeat. I have 3 Joy of Cooking books, 1975, 1997, and 2019. I have a problem finding recipes when I search a specific recipe. Do you have any guidance on how to use the index? Thanks, Pat.
Fun. So next week, we're going to talk about how to use the index in Joy of Cooking, which may not sound exciting, but I think as cookbook people, we're excited to talk about it.
Well, yeah, we have some index angst. For sure.
Yes, absolutely. All right. What is everybody cooking this week? Shannon, what about you?
We do our annual spooky movie night this week, and we tend to just make a bunch of different pizzas using the Joy of Cooking's pizza dough recipe. Thank you. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then, of course, our friends always bring over too much extra food. So, too much in quotes, like it's the most amazing thing. So, and then we'll carve our pumpkins. So I'm always excited about that.
That's fun. I'm sad I'm going to miss that. I have a class that night, but I missed the carving of the pumpkin.
I know. Well, John, you're just going to have to
John
too.
You're picking me up.
I know.
We're a one-car household, so it's either that or I don't come.
I'll pick you up. What about you two?
Other than using our mushrooms that we're going to use some tonight, we're making a lemon ricotta pasta, and we're going to roast some of the white chanterelles and have that with the pasta.
Roast them a little and then saute them because they're a little wet. But yeah, aside from that, definitely thinking soups. I've had borscht on the mind for like a month now, and I feel like it's radiant.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
All right. Yeah, we have some smoked brisket that we still have, it's in the freezer. I'm thinking smoked brisket in the borscht.
Heck yes.
Sounds great.
What about you, Kate? Are you looking forward to cooking anything this week?
Well, I'll be prepping for a class that I'm doing down on Vashon Island. So I'm making a lot of chicken pot pies to take down.
Nice.
And I'm going to be making some blackberry pies of the last of there was a lot of picking that went on. So I've got that. And then I'll be I'll be doing at least one apple pie down there too. So it's pie week here.
It's pie time.
always
Who
pie.
would have thought? Imagine that. And I just wanted to put a plug in for, we're entering kind of a tough time due to the government shutdown. There's a lot of people who are facing, losing their SNAP benefits. Groceries are really expensive. So if you have the means, please donate money to your local food bank. Food banks can use the cash and buy more food than you can buy with that same dollar. And they also know what they need. So I think giving cash is a really powerful way to help your local food banks. And then if you live somewhere with free fridges, you can also cook food and take it to the free fridge, or just, buy a bunch of ready to eat or easy to prepare foods and stock the free pantry and free fridge. And just reach out to your neighbors and let's take care of each other. Let's feed each other. That's kind of what this is all about. Kate, before we wrap, where can listeners follow you?
Well, they can find me on Substack. I have a newsletter called Kate McDermott's Newsletter. And I'm also on Blue Sky at Kate McDermott.
Perfect. And we'll add all of that to the show notes as well so people can find you. Thanks for listening to the Joy of Cooking podcast. Before we go, show some love for your favorite podcast by subscribing to the show and leaving us a review. Follow us at joyofcooking.substack.com and on Instagram at thejoyofcooking. Stay tuned for next week, where we'll talk about using a cookbook's index. And don't forget to make this week's recipe lemon meringue pie on page 681. Call in with questions, hopes, history, or where you find joy in the kitchen. Our number is 503-395-8858. That's 503-395-8858.
And we could not do this without our fantastic team at the Joy of Creation production house. Thank you to Dave Drusky, our production coordinator, Haley Bowers, our audio engineer, and Sarah Marshall, our producer.
If you love the stories we bring you each week, please consider supporting us on Patreon. As an independent media company, your support is absolutely essential. It allows us to continue creating high-quality professional episodes that amplify the voices of women, small business owners, writers, artists, and creatives, and keep their stories free from commercial pressure. By becoming a Patreon member, you're not just supporting us, you're investing in the future of independent media. Please visit patreon.com/The Joy of Creation Production House to join our community today. Thank you for listening and supporting our podcast dreams.